Hello friends, welcome to my channel Economica. I, Dr. Gopal B. Saraswat, welcome you all to my channel. Today the topic for discussion is formulation of research process. This is a step which initiate a research, and once you are able to come up upon a research problem or you finalize a research problem, or in layman language we can say if you identify a problem, this is a job half done. Kerlinger's 1986 said, if one wants to solve a problem, one must generally know what is the problem. It can be said that a large part of problem lies in knowing what one is trying to do. So, once you are able to find a problem, so the chances of solving a problem increases. So here researcher is very well in doing so, because decision makers sees the tip of the iceberg. They have different factors to understand something is going wrong. For example, if your customers are unhappy, you identify as a decision maker that something is wrong with the company. If there is a low traffic on your website, something is wrong. Sale is losing, something is wrong. But why something is wrong? This is the job of researcher. Researcher go deep down and try to find out why something is wrong, and this is where the decision problem lies. Research problem always been a scientific inquiry where you question what is the exact research question you are seeking to answer. So research process must be, or the research question must be, a logical one. This must follow a line of reasoning and systematic and scientific inquiry, where you can go through that systematic scientific inquiry and come upon a research problem and its solution. Researcher required to challenge himself again and again. Especially the challenge for business manager is not only to identify and define the research problem, but the bigger challenge is to convert a decision into a research problem. And this is the main foundation for creating a research problem. In the business setting, you require to create a decision problem into a research problem. Powers et al. In 1985 have put it in this manner and said, potential research questions may occur to us on regular basis, but the process of formulating them in a meaningful way is not at all an easy task. One needs to narrow down the decision problem and rephrase it into a research problem. Whereas the Vanik 1991 mentioned that the complexity of phrasing the decision in research problem always been there, and this been a challenge for the business managers. They sometimes unable to convert a decision problem into a research problem, and once you are able to do so, to convert it, this is how you come upon a research problem. But when business managers they face uncertainty, and they require to undergo a process of converting decision problem into a research problem, they are generally facing a bounded rationality. Bounded rationality concerned in formulating business research problem, and the manager generally arrive at a decision in due to bounded uncertainty or bounded rationality, especially because of uncertainty where the decision seems not to be rational. Herbert Simon emphasized upon the rational decision making, and he argued that decisions should be made at all levels of the organization structure by the decision maker in rational manner. He identified the three phases of decision making: intelligent activity, decision activity, and the choice activity. Intelligence activities collect information of the issue from the environment, decide the criteria by which you are required to make a decision, and finally choose the best alternative and take a decision. His three-phase of decision-making model, where first phase was to collect information and find occasion of making a decision, and second step was design activity, which involves finding alternative and finally the choosing the right one. But according to Simon, the administrative managers or in business, they generally looks for satisfactory alternative. They try to recognize the word he perceived is drastically simplified model of real world, and because of which they can make his choice without first determining all possible alternatives and without ascertaining that all satisfies rather than maximize. So they take, take the decision or they come up with a decision problem because of their limited knowledge, because of their the sense of comfort. Whenever they face uncertainty, that the decisions comes out of their comfort rather than maximizing the resources for the organization. And because of this, their decisions are not rational and they are not able to convert a decision problem into a research problem. His study in 1958, The March and Simon, also implies that the manager do not always work and take decision in perfectly rational sequence. He also mentioned that in his model that information search and problem recognition phase, like any other behavior, has to be motivated among the decision makers. Unless the manager is driven by the present level of dissatisfaction, he or she could not come out with the best research problem. Further, he also mentioned in his model that the most instances a manager does not have access to complete and perfect information. And finally, the manager might try to seek reasonably convenient and quick information that meets minimum rather than optimal standards. So Herbert Simon theory here clearly depicts that how managers are facing issues while converting a decision problem into a research problem. And this they lack it because of a scientific thought and rationality. So when we provide and give a scientific thought to a research for converting a decision problem into a research problem, we have to undergo a deductive thought or through inductive thought. Deductive thought is a top-down approach and whereas inductive thought is bottom-up. In deductive thought, you took a theory, you hypothesize something, you observe and confirm and reject the hypothesis. But in case of inductive approach, you observe, you find pattern, you develop hypothesis and you develop a theory. So in scientific thought, a deductive approach may be, for example, that all well executed projects have well integrated teams. This is reasoning one. Then we narrowed it down and said the ABC project have many shortfalls. We again narrowed it down and said the ABC project team is not very cohesive and integrated team. This is a deductive approach of scientific thought. Whereas inductive thought says the local authorities are extremely corrupt. At each stage, they deliberately put an official spoke in wheel and do not let next phase of the project and be achieved till their rightful share is negotiated and delivered. So here we are trying to having inductive approach, we are putting one thing on another. But in deductive approach, we are just having a funnel approach where we are deducting our thoughts which are not required to have particular research. We just minimizing it down and coming up with a focused approach. So what is research problem? So research problem is the most important step in the research process to identify the path of inquiry. And this path of inquiry is known as research problem. This can be defined as a gap or uncertainty in the decision maker's existing body of knowledge and the efficient decision making. Sometimes it may so happen that there might be a multiple reason for these gaps. Identifying one of these and pursuing its solution might be the problem. Hicks 1991 he provided two approaches to the types of problem. He said one is simple research problem, another one is complex research problem. So what is research problem? Research problem is a gap or uncertainty which hampers the process of efficient decision making in a given body of knowledge, and this is known as research problem. So here we started with the decision problem and we are looking to convert it into the research problem. So what we just did it, we identified what is scientific thought, inductive and deductive, and how the scientific approach and the behavioral issues are have causing having a rational decision problem to convert it into a research problem. So therefore it is necessary that we go through the research framework to convert a decision problem into a research problem. This is a three-step process of converting research to the research problem. Means we are converting a decision problem into a research problem. So how we can convert it? First is problem identification process. Problem recognition process starts with a decision maker with some difficulty, decision dilemma or management dilemma the decision maker is facing, and this is how you identify a problem. Then after management decision problem, this is the entire process explained by acknowledging an identification of difficulty encountered by the business manager or the researcher. And finally, when you discuss it, the issue with the subject experts, you come across a issue which your business or the society as a whole may face, and you come across a problem. So this is how you generally try to convert the decision problem into a research problem. So how we are going to explain it, decision problem and research problem? Let's go through it. Here you are seeing in left hand side, these are the decision problem and this is how they are being converted into a research problem. What should be done to increase the customer base of organic products in domestic market? This is the decision problem. Research problem is what is the awareness and purchase intention of health conscious consumers for organic products? Further, a decision problem may be like how to reduce turnover rates in BPO sector. But the research problem will be what is the impact of shift duties on work exhaustion and turnover intentions of the BPO employees. Further, should the company continue with its existing security service vendor or look at an alternative? This is a decision problem. Whether you need to change your security vendor. But the research problem will be what is the satisfaction level of the company with the existing vendor? Are there any gaps and can they be effectively handled by any other vendor? For a bank like ICICI, they are willing to have a managing director. So this is the management decision problem. But the research problem will be what has been the leadership initiative and performance record of ABC versus XYZ. Means if you hire a person A, if you hire person B, what could be the leadership initiative and performance record ICICI may witness. You can also convert the same decision problem into a research problem by can a leading aggressive private sector bank accept women as its leader, as a managing director? So this is how you convert a decision problem into a research problem. So as I initially mentioned, Once you are able to convert a decision problem to research problem, or you are able to find a research problem, the solution is awaiting for you.